Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast number 1750. The topic is training and the title is Correcting Forward Bar Path in Barbell Squats. Ooh. So one of my clients is a business client. We meet with like a Zoom consultation every week. We talk about business. They're developing a kind of like a private training center, but they're sharing it with two other trainers. It's a nice little setup they got. But recently, we were actually talking about one of their clients. This trainer has not competed in powerlifting, but they do like lift heavy, and they are pretty damn strong actually. But he hasn't competed in powerlifting. However, he picked up a competitive powerlifting client, and the client is struggling with a forward bar path. What that means is if you were to film a person's squat from the side, you should do this to your own squat, by the way, but if you were to film your squat from the side, ideally, in like 99.999% of the cases, you would want the bar, like once you unrack, step back, and into position, you would want to move in a way in which the bar goes straight down, straight up. You would not want to see an angled forward bar path. If you are seeing that, that's an improper balancing of muscle involvement. It typically means that there are some muscles that are weak, and you're not in the most efficient position. So this, my client's client, so we'll call it the trainer and the client, but the client was struggling with this, and they were friends with the trainers, one of the trainer's other clients, reached out, and now the trainer's like, hell yeah, I'll help you. Isn't familiar with it, so he's like, hey, can you teach me? Because I want to eventually be able to do this. And I was like, well, yeah, of course, that's exactly what I love to do. So he's been sending me videos of his client, and then I've been telling him some advice on what to do. After a longer conversation, I wanted to share a little bit about what we talked about that I think could help. So if you are experiencing forward bar path in your barbell squats, here's a little tip you can try. What the client was seeing and what the trainer was seeing in the videos was the client would either go diagonally forward with the bar path right from the start. And what happened then was the bar was forward of the person's center of gravity. So as they would try to come up out of the bottom, their hips would rise first before their shoulders and chest came up. This caused their shoulders to rotate forward, which rounds their thoracic spine, their upper back, and then they would just kind of fail the lift halfway up. They would come out of the hole like 2 or 3 inches, the chest would cave, shoulders would round, and it'd all go to crap. Or they would go straight down, but at the final 3 inches, everything would go to crap and it would shoot forward, and they would get a little bit more of a bounce out of the bottom, but it turned into like a good morning, the knees caved in and everything kind of died. So they said it was either diagonally straight forward the whole way down, or it was great, and then, oh shit, everything dumped forward. So we were talking is the skill set that the trainer is wanting to improve upon is exercise selection. So we specifically tried to solve this problem using only exercise selection. There are several other things you could do, but we just wanted to do exercise selection because that's what this trainer is wanting to develop and wanting to learn more of. So what we decided was, let's do a quick fix in the sense of the client is already training 3 days a week. They have a squat day, a bench day, and then they have like a deadlift and an upper body kind of accessory blended day. So squat day, bench day, then like a full body day with definitely having deadlifts in there. They didn't want to train, they can't train more, they can't train for longer. They just need everything fixed without having to invest more time or, kind of stress, anything like that. So we're like, okay, let's change the exercises. Let's pick exercises that emphasize the cues that we want this person to develop. And it won't add any more time. We're just going to say, hey, these are the things you've been doing. Do these other ones instead. What we decided to do is we broke it down into a 12-week process. We're going to take 12 weeks, so that's 3 months, and then we're going to retest their max. in the 12 weeks, we're going to do 3 4-week programs. I'm a big believer in 4-week programs for a bajillion and one reasons. So let's mention a podcast you can listen to, would be 1,468. You can find all of our podcasts on our website, www.brittlelirongym.com. Podcast 1,468 is a Q&A podcast titled How Often Should I Change Exercises? My answer to that is every 4 weeks. Other people have other answers. For the most part, I like my answer. So you can listen to that podcast to find out why. So we're doing the first 4 weeks. We're going to do paused zombie squats. What the hell is a zombie squat? It's a front squat, but your arms are extended out in front of you rather than being bent and like back onto the bar. So your hands are not going to be on the bar. You're not going to have like a typical front rack position that you would have like in Olympic lifting. You're not going to have your arms folded position, which you see a lot of bodybuilders do. We're just literally not having our hands on the bar. We're going to do a zombie squat. If you don't know what any of this is, you can always pause the podcast and look at it on YouTube. But a zombie squat is just arms are extended out in front of you. The bar rests kind of along your collarbones. It's going to be against your neck and closer to you than basically your shoulder muscles. So you're going to use your front deltoid and your middle deltoid, which are fancy words for shoulder muscles, are going to cradle the bar, and then your neck is going to also cradle it. So it kind of fits in this like groove. You won't feel that it's very groovy, but it fits in this groove along your collarbone. Now, the benefit of a zombie squat is if a person squats down and starts to go forward, their arms will tend to cave. The bar tends to want to roll or fall. Our body perceives that as danger. Now, if the bar fell, it's going to fall in front of you. It's not going to actually like hit you. It's not going to hurt you. But your body perceives that as, oh dear God, this seems chaotic. I can't let that happen. So in that position, the body almost forces a vertical bar path, whether you want it to or not. It will 100% improve your bar path, that's for sure. Now, I use this with a powerlifter recently. We use this to fix his bar path. He competes at 165. He just squatted 530, which is really damn good, by the way. So he squatted 530, and when we first started working together, I think it's been like 6-ish months, he was squatting like around 500 to like competition depth, but there was definitely forward bar path. I could see that there was some inefficiency, and I'm like, dude, you're way stronger. We can definitely get you higher. He eventually wants to squat 600 at 165, which sounds again insane, but damn if he ain't gonna do it. He has the power. He's very explosive, very, very strong. So we were doing front squats, zombie squats, actually as warm-ups for his back squats as a way to cue a better bar path. So I've done this very successfully with very high level elite type lifters. Now, the zombie squat is the first of the sequence we're going to do. We're going to do that for 4 weeks. I'm going to come back and tell you sets and reps here in a second. Then for 4 weeks, we want to do a paused competition squat. So if the person competes at high bar or low bar, or whatever it is, you want to do it with a pause. So if you notice, the first one is a paused zombie squat for 4 weeks. Then we do a paused competition squat for 4 weeks. Why do we do pauses? The benefit of pauses is as you get to the bottom of the squat, if you drift forward, you'll feel at the bottom that you're in your toes. So if you go to the bottom and you stop, your body will naturally say, well, this is kind of miserable. I don't want to be all in my toes when I have all the muscles of the backside of my body to help support this position if I were to bring my center of gravity back to my midfoot. So you would come down, you would sense that you're in your toes, you would shift your balance point to midfoot, and all of a sudden you'd feel your glutes, your hamstrings, and like your adductors kind of engage and help hold you, other than just using your hip flexors and quads and lower back. So that pause gives you a chance to say, where am I? Am I in my toes? Am I midfoot? Where is my balance point? So we do 4 weeks of the zombie squat. Then we do 4 weeks of paused competition squat. And then the final 4 weeks we're going to do is regular competition squat. And we're going to peak up to try to test that max on week 4. Okay, So that's the exercise sequence for squats: is paused zombie squat, paused competition squat, and then a regular competition squat. Sets and reps. Now, I understand some of this can get a little complex, so you might want to write this down. But actually, I'll make a social media post connected with this concept in this podcast. So I think this podcast is going to come out on a Tuesday. I will make a social media post paired with this. Okay, and you'll see some sets and reps and an explanation of all this in that social media post. Find us and follow us if you don't already on Instagram under Brutal Iron Gym and YouTube under Brutal Iron Gym. So the paused zombie squats, we want to do 5 sets, 5 working sets. So you're going to do all your warm-ups and then you're going to do 5 working sets. Week 1, we're going to do sets of 5 to 6 reps, meaning it's not so light that you could do 7 or more. It's not so heavy that you can't do at least 5. So we're going to give you a little bit of a range, so that way you can kind of play with that and get a feel of it. Now, when you're doing 5 sets, you might not be able to do the same weight every single set. You likely shouldn't be able to do the same weight all 5 sets. Set 1, you're going to be a hell of a lot more fresh than you are set 5. So set 1, I'm just making up numbers, by the way, maybe you get up to 225 for a set of 5. And you're like, ooh, that was kind of hard, but I think I can do that again. Set 2, again, you do 225 for a set of 5. But you're like, oh crap, that was I can feel my technique breaking down. So maybe set 3, you might drop from 225 down to 215. You can get another set of 5. Set 4, another set of 5. Then set 5, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get another 5. Maybe I have to drop down to 205. That's okay. You change weight every set based on whatever will get you the best performance per set. You do not have to maintain the same weight all working sets. That's not how that works. 5 sets of 5 to 6 reps means you use whatever the hell weight you need for each set to get 5 to 6 reps. So you likely will be able to, and you need to, change weights as you go through 5 working sets. Okay? We're going to do 5 working sets of 5 to 6 reps. Week 2 is 5 working sets of 4 to 5 reps, so a little bit heavier. Week 3 is 3 to 4 reps. Week 4 is 2 to 3 reps. So all weeks are 5 sets, but week 1 is 5 to 6 reps. Week 2 is 4 to 5 reps. Week 3 is 3 to 4 reps. Week 4 is 2 to 3 reps. The reason why the reps decrease is it allows for an increase in weight load. What we're trying to do is we're starting this sequence, this 12-week sequence, with the hardest exercise to use the most weight on. So what's happening is with a paused zombie squat, you will not be able to squat as much as you can with a paused competition squat or your regular competition squat. So you're starting with lighter weight, but a very challenging position. So that way the weight load isn't the problem. Finding and feeling your position is the challenge. But we want to progress in our weight load per week to progress the neurological adaptation of strength and get us peaked for week number 12. So that's why we're starting with the most challenging variation, but why the rep ranges decrease each week is so that way it allows for increasing weight load. Then when we go into paused competition squats, we're going to be doing 4 sets per week rather than 5 sets. The reason why is we can use heavier weight loads in paused competition squats compared to paused zombie squats. So we just don't need as many sets because we're going to accumulate the neurological damage, the adaptation demand, in a fewer set count just because we're using heavier weight loads. So since we have heavier weight loads, we have greater stress load on the body, we don't need as much volume. Anytime weight load / intensity goes up, volume should come down. So the paused competition squats, we're going to do 4 sets, working sets each week, and we're actually going to repeat the same rep ranges. So week 1 is 5 to 6 reps, week 2 is 4 to 5 reps, week 3 is 3 to 4 reps, week 4 is 2 to 3 reps. Again, what we're looking to do is we're trying to get a progression of weight load. What you'll find is the paused zombie squat in week 4, you're going to be doing sets of 2 to 3 reps. Then the very next week, you're going to go into a paused competition squat at 5 to 6 reps. You're still going to be able to move up in weight load. So 5 to 6 reps of your competition squat is likely going to be heavier than 2 to 3 reps of a zombie squat. So you're still going to be progressing in weight load each week, even though the reps went back up. because we have an exercise variation that allows for a heavier weight load. So this is when exercise selection becomes very important, is we're sequencing these exercises to allow for a sustained increase in weight load throughout the 12-week period so we can get the central nervous system to peak for strength in week 12. We don't want the weight load to feel all over the place and super variable over 12 weeks. We want it to slowly progress up so the central nervous system isn't burned out and fatigued by the time you get to week 12. It's actually primed. It feels super excited, super explosive, and you're ready to go. Then the last 4 weeks we do the regular competition squat. We're going to do what's called a ladder repeat. I don't know if that's a technical name. I just use it. But a ladder repeat is we're going to repeat some of the rep ranges, but not all of them. What I mean by that is in week 1, we're going to be doing 3 sets of 4 to 5 reps. So not 5 to 6 like we did in the other 2 variations. In week 1, we do 4 to 5 reps. Week 2, we do 3 to 4 reps. Week 3, we do 2 to 3 reps. And then that allows us week 4 to work up to a 1 rep max. So I'm not repeating the reps starting back at week 1. I'm repeating the reps starting at week 2, so that way I can have a brand new week 4 in this sequence. So it's like you go down 3 steps to go up 1 step. So if every month you went up 4 steps, if I went back down 3, then went up 4, I get to a new rung on the ladder in week 4, and that's the 1 rep max. So again, this is a central nervous system control and a weight load control so we can peak at what we want to peak at, whether it's a 1 rep max, 5 rep max, 3 rep max, whatever it might be. Now for this variation, the regular competition squat, we're only going to be doing 3 working sets. And again, that's because since the weight loads have gone up, the intensity has gone up, therefore the volume should come down, so that way we don't beat the crap out of the body and get to week 12 and all of a sudden we're destroyed and everything hurts. So that's the sequence. Week 1 is 3 sets of 4 to 5 reps of the regular competition squat. Week 2 is 3 sets of 3 to 4. Week 3 is 3 sets of 2 to 3 reps. And then week 4, you just work up to 1 all-out set of a 1 rep max. So that's the sequencing that we have. So exercise selection-wise, we're going paused zombie squat for 4 weeks, paused competition squat for 4 weeks, and then regular competition squat for 4 weeks. Now, again, why we chose that sequencing is the zombie squat absolutely forces the body to a vertical bar path or really damn close to it. Because if you're not, the bar will fall. Your body recognizes that that's a danger, which not really, because it's going to fall in front of you, not on you, but the body doesn't know that. So it forces better technique, and it forces you into positions that you might not even know existed because you haven't used them yet. So it's going to force you into better positions, and all of a sudden your brain gets to go, oh, wow, these positions exist? You get to develop a mind-muscle awareness of the positions. Then when we switch to paused competition squat, now that you know those positions exist, we want to try to be able to find them voluntarily, which is what we need to do when we get to our regular competition squat. So that sequencing of squat selection allows us to force a vertical bar path or very close to it, and then be able to voluntarily try to find it, and then be able to put it all together for a competition squat. So excellent sequencing there. The other adaptation we're making, the other kind of programming thing, is what are we doing after squats? There's a very important accessory lift, which means what do you do after your squats to make your squats better, those exercises, that really helps bar path, and that's a sumo stance stiff-legged deadlift. Good Lord, will you hate me. But this is a great exercise. Louis Simmons actually teaches this exercise very well. Let me see if I can find the video that I would want you to look at for that. So it would be barbell, sumo stance, stiff-legged deadlifts. I have the link in the document I use to write my client programs. So let me open up that video. My program list, my exercise list that I have for clients is actually, let me see, since I want to say that, it's 287 pages in a Microsoft Word document, and there's roughly about 18 exercises per page. So that is 18 times 287. So I have over 5,000 exercises that I use when I'm writing client programs. That is absurd and way above what you would ever find elsewhere. Like a lot of apps that trainers use, like they hire a company to use their app, but then they brand it their own. But those apps will have maybe 500, maybe 1,000 exercises. So I have an extensive list I've built over the years. So it's over 5,000 exercises that I choose from. All of them have an exercise tutorial with them. So the YouTube video that you would look for to learn sumo stance stiff-legged deadlift, it's on the YouTube channel Steffi Cohen, Stefi. Last name is Cohen. If you don't know who she is, if you're in powerlifting, you want to know who she is. Absolute world record holder, maybe even still, but she was at one time crazy strong. She visited Louis Simmons from Westside Barbell, and the video is titled Louis Simmons Wants Me in a Deadlift Suit. Okay, you're going to go to 21 minutes and 38 second mark in the video. 21 minutes, 38 seconds. And that is going to show you how he was teaching her to do a sumo stance stiff leg deadlift. So that's what I send my clients, is I send them the video link, the timestamp. It's, like sets and reps, all this other stuff. Now, we want to have more eccentric control than what they're showing in the video, which is always what I note when I write it for clients. But that exercise, why that's very helpful is it forces adductor, hamstring, and glute isolation. So when we have a forward bar path, it means our hip flexors, quads, and lower back are trying to take over the squat. A sumo stance stiff leg deadlift forces those muscles out of the equation, and you have to use your adductors, hamstrings, and glutes. So it's going to force you to use muscles you don't typically want to use or can't find. So again, it's like a zombie squat. It's a forced positional benefit. What that does is those tissues then learn how to stretch under weight load. So they learn weight load acceptance, which means that your body will not subconsciously protect those muscles when it's under a heavy weight load of a barbell squat. So this forces positional basically, it forces a position in which those muscles have to interact with each other. They have to accept the weight load. And then as we repeat this over 12 weeks with varying weight load, stress, and volume, it's giving time for mind-muscle connection to develop within those muscles, which lowers the nervous system protection of the muscles. So you'll actually be able to better feel yourself into those muscles. Your body won't be subconsciously trying to protect them. It also allows for the neurological adaptation on those muscles to develop greater strength, and it actually helps you build more muscle tissue as well, because you're going to have more time and attention in those tissues than you normally would. And bigger muscles can eventually be stronger muscles if you train them for strength. So the main accessory lift that we're going to do after squats is a sumo stance stiff leg deadlift. The first 4 weeks are just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. We're not worried about weight load. We're going to do 5 working sets per week. We're going to do 7 to 8 reps in week 1, 6 to 7 reps in week 2, 5 to 6 reps in week 3, 4 to 5 reps in week 4. Again, we're looking for a continual week by week weight load increase to get that neurological strength adaptation. Weeks start the second 4 weeks of the program. You're going to repeat the same rep ranges, but instead of 5 working sets, you're going to do 4 working sets, and you're going to try to push for more weight. So now when you go back to 7 to 8 reps, you're going to try more weight than you did the first 4 weeks. When you go back to 6 to 7 reps, you're going to do more weight, 5 to 6 reps, more weight, 4 to 5 reps, more weight. The last 4 weeks, week 1, we're going to do 3 sets of 5 to 6 reps. Again, we're going to be doing a ladder repeat. So week 1 is 3 sets of 5 to 6 reps. Week 2 is 3 sets of 4 to 5 reps. You're going to try for the max weight you can do with correct technique in those weeks. Week 3, you're only going to work up to 1 top set of 3 to 4 reps. That's it, just 1. What this does is it allows us to decrease the stress load in those tissues, so that way in week 4, those tissues will be fresh and they'll be able to contribute towards that 1 rep max attempt on the regular competition squat. Okay? Now, I know this sounds overwhelming, I do recognize that there's a lot of numbers involved here. But again, what I wanted to just get across was that with exercise selection, you don't have to add more work to your programs. You're just doing more precision. You're doing work that forces more of the adaptations and responses that you want that maybe you don't even know how to do. But through proper exercise selection, it forces the body's response to those movements. So that's what I told the trainer to do. I said, follow the normal movement prep that we do before you squat. Go do your squats, then do the sumo stand stiff leg deadlifts, and then do some unilateral movement to finish up. Walking lunges, Bulgarian split squats, step-ups, whatever it may be. All of those are going to be low enough in weight load, it really won't matter much as long as the trainer follows normal volume intensity protocol. So that is going to be our adaptations, our changes. Again, exercise selection forces the adaptations we want, and that will help us correct the forward bar path and barbell squats. You're going to be squatting way more efficiently, way the hell stronger. You're just going to be able to better display the strength you already have, let alone actually continue to build strength over the 12-week kind of sequencing here. So I thought that was fun. I wanted to just kind of share that because you can see there's some neat set and rep range kind of adaptations we would make. Interesting to pay attention to weight load increases per exercise selection and how to kind of nurture the nervous system to feel fresh and ready to go at like a peaking point for strength. Okay. I don't know if that was too much or not, but I like getting in the weeds on some details every now and then because people tell me they love this stuff, so I do want to get into it. I know it can be overwhelming for others, but I'm trying to, find my blend in the podcast. Some days it's going to be good, some days not so good for everybody. So hopefully they're mostly good now. If you have any follow-up questions, always email me, brutalirongym@gmail.com. I will post a video with this podcast on the Tuesday. I believe it's coming out on Tuesday that this will come out. I'll post that on our social media, so check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and YouTube. We're on Facebook, but I don't post directly there. So Instagram and YouTube are definitely the better channels, ways in which to find us. If you're looking for great programming that has these kind of elements blended into it, we have our live monthly programming service where you get brand new programs every 4 weeks based on a specific goal, and then we have our one-on-one coaching where I write everything specific for you, absolutely 100% individually specific based on your abilities, your needs, your equipment, your time, your schedule, all that stuff. If you need anything, it's probably on our website because I have a lot of free stuff on there, or you can email me at brutalirongym@gmail.com. If you like the podcast, please share the podcast. If you like the podcast, please consider donating to support the podcast, which you can do on our website. And if you like the information that we share in our podcast, you can find more from us on our social media channels. You can find us and follow us on Instagram and YouTube under the name Brutal Iron Gym. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.